So in the big picture of things, what I see here is that it's the same seed, right? It's the same seed. It's just different grounds. So if we want to bring it to today's like an analogy, right? It's the seed is the truth, is the one truth, but then we have the different hearts, right? People, we're speaking out one truth. It's the same seed, the same type of seed, and it's landing on different soil. It's landing on different hearts. And I like the breakdown, like on the second part, where he goes and talks about the different types of soils that receive the word, right? He talks about the soil as an analogy, and then he explains what that meant. And it's right here in the text, so I'm not going to go over it again. But that was, every time I read that, I try to examine myself, like what type of soil am I at? And I always, you want to be the one that's in that fertile soil, right? That's growing the fruit, that's growing the plant and producing the fruit.
Yeah, and this image here that I pulled up kind of shows that and compares them all. The first one, the blind heart, where you hear it, but you're just not grasping God's message. You're blind to it. You got the rocky heart. You're enthusiastic about it at first. You're extremely excited, like a new Christian, but then the world kind of just sucks you back in. It's just the seed did not grab. You got the rebellious heart, where you partially commit to God, but then you're also kind of still in the world. Might say that's kind of like lukewarm. You're just vulnerable to worldly things, worldly desires. And then you got the good soil, the remaining heart, where you're fully dedicated to Jesus and everything. And that's where you reap the harvest 30, 60, 100 times.
Something I also want to add is this could also be correlated with the right gospel, because when you're being exposed to actually the wrong gospel, you're not going to be fruitful. You're not going to have the right idea of what God is and what Jesus is. And also, like correlate that to the heart. You can also have be taught in the past by religious people. So you have a predetermined view of things, and you do not have a open heart to receive truth, because you think you had the right truth, but you had the wrong gospel. So and this is something that I actually have discussed in the past, because people say that, well, if somebody is exposed to the wrong gospel, does that person had a real encounter with God? And I will always say, well, the key thing over here is just like, if that person was exposed to the attributes, the real attributes of what God is and Jesus is, absolutely he could have an encounter. But if they show you a torn version of what God is or what Jesus is, well, I'm sorry, but the word over there says that the truth will set you free. It doesn't say that half truth will set you free. So that could be corresponding into that. Also, I just want to add into something that, when they ask, why do you speak in parables? And he says, because my knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has given to you. Whoever has will be given more, and will have an abundance. Of whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken to them. This is actually talking about the faith. When you open your heart to in a way that you gain that faith by trusting in God, he will keep revealing into you, through your life situations. He will just actually give you understanding of the word. But if you have a close heart into that, you cannot expect God to just show you because he's good. No, if he just like pushes toward you, he would just like take away your free will over here. So it's a matter of just like be open, and actually just, if you have faith that you're being exposed, if you actually open your heart in a way that you're able to just be given that gospel, and you little by little understand it, then it will be given more into you. And that's awesome, because he's actually just giving you a blueprint over there to just like open and live as a Christian. I think also we also got into the parable of the weeds, right? Yeah. Yeah. Also, like, commenting into that, uh, when he's actually talking about the weeds over here, he's actually talking about true believers and false believers. You see a lot of people, and this is something that's truth. You know, we see a lot of people just say, "Well, church is a place of hypocrites." You see the brother over there doing something wrong, and you do not say anything. Well, I'm here to tell you something. If you are in a true church, and a pastor does something wrong, the church will take him accountable. I don't know other churches. I mean, I've seen a lot of news, but like, when you see churches just pardoning and just saying, well, he's the anointed one or something like that, even thought on our eyes he's being adulterous, he's being something, sorry, that's not a true church, because the head of the church is Christ, is not the pastor. So Jesus puts a pastor, but if he does something wrong, he removes it, as he did with Saul, as he did with um, every other, like, a historic, like, a biblical figure. So we will. This is something that it will happen in churches. We will see true believers, we will see false believers, but the word says that by their fruit they will be known. It's not that we cannot commit sin. We always gonna fail in something. But when you have that position, you have double the responsibility. So there's always gonna be believers. There's gonna be believers that you thought that they were believers, and then later on, it surprises you that they're committing stuff behind the scenes and the shadows, and you're like surprised. Well, you shouldn't be surprised. At the end of the day, you have to trust Christ. You have to trust God, because men will fail. So at the end of the day, like we mentioned a couple of studies before, we have the fruits of the spirit, we have all the fruits of the flesh. God knows, he will always know, but you have to just like keep aiming to the head, which is Jesus Christ.
And you mentioned there are believers, true believers, and false believers, but there's also the ones, like it says right here, that falls. They're the seed that falls on rocky ground. They accept it joyfully. They accept the message joyfully, so therefore they are believers. But because they have no roots, when they come through persecution or hardship, or something happens to their loved one, and they thought that God was his shield that was supposed to protect their finances, their physical bodies, their families, we're still in this world. So yes, can we have deliverance? Absolutely. But sometimes deliverance doesn't come. So those people that accept the gospel with joy, they are believers, but they have no roots, so they fall back. So they weren't necessarily false, they were just not rooted yet, right? They can come back, because I believe that if they believed once, the Holy Spirit is going to pull their hearts back, because um, God is faithful to complete the work that he begins. If the person really truly accepted Christ into their heart, there's no devil that's going to take that person away from the kingdom. They just might have to go a longer route and suffer a little more and get more acclimated to what truly believe in the gospel is, and truly going through the motions of um, the world and being the Christian